So a feud is set up with a newcomer named Hakushi
Bless you.
in the lead up to WrestleMania 9 or 11 rather. And he's also beginning to rekindle his old feud with Jerry Lawler. Lawler is convincing Hakushi and his manager Shinja that Bret was racist to the Japanese people. It was a very strange angle. Bret's given a plaque as a result of a WWF magazine readers poll as to who epitomizes the new WWF or the new generation, whatever you want to call it. He also receives the award of the people, and Lawler disputes this, saying Japanese readers must have been excluded from the vote as there's no way they could vote for Bret. And Lawler would say Bret was making some unkind remarks about the Japanese and flat out just calls Bret a racist. And this feels weird. And I know that we tried once upon a time to do the whole Yokozuna, Lex Luger, All American, USA versus Japan thing, but it feels like we're trying it again here, but I don't know. It just feels weird. What say you?
Yeah, it definitely doesn't age well, but it was kind of, you left Lawler sometimes to his own devices and Jerry with a live mic. And in Tennessee, they did things a little bit differently and it wouldn't happen, cut off pretty quickly after that and moved on.
No doubt it was cut off. I mean, very quickly the whole racist piece of this angle is dropped. And now it's Hakushi bringing out a severed mannequin head of Bret Hart. And this is something we've never seen before. Quite the visual. Obviously this is years before we saw Crazy Lanterns with Bray Wyatt and all that jazz, but here in 95, a severed mannequin head, that feels pretty edgy, does it not?
Yeah, it was. It was really cool head too. And I wanted it. I don't know where it is, but I want to find it and put it in my office.
While this feud is going on, Bret's going to face Bob Backlund in a pretty less than WrestleMania 11 match. It's mostly remembered for Roddy Piper screaming, "What do you say?" every few seconds as he stuck the mic in their faces. And at this point, this was probably Bret's least favorite WrestleMania match. Would you agree with that?
Had to be. Had to be.
My gosh.
It was horrible. What do you say there, fellas? Come on. Hey, you. That's right, fella. What do you say? Come on. What do you say? What do you say? You want to give it up? Huh? Yeah. What do you say? Okay, there, fella. You're a fine lad. You are, young fella. Yeah, if I was there, if I was there, I'd bust that little head up of yours right there where you got the little thing over the gimmicks on the earphone gimmick thing. I just bust your hair up there. Maybe go down a little scratch under your chin there with your beard there, Cubby.
The very first In Your House pay-per-view,
motherfucker. Okay, I'm sorry.
Happens on, boy, you've been itching to record and you didn't even know it. You're just ready to let all this out. May 14th, Syracuse, New York. Bret's going to defeat Hakushi in a really great match. And then later in the night, Jerry Lawler is going to pin Bret after a little help from Hakushi to set up a rematch at King of the Ring in June. Hakushi though, he did have some good matches with Bret. Was it just a bad gimmick, overthought, bad timing?
I thought the gimmick was great. I thought the Hakushi gimmick was absolutely great. Unfortunately, there wasn't, I think that if Hakushi had a stronger manager versus old, Shinya, I'm going to tell the JJ. I think that he might have done a lot better to be able to connect with the audience, but his matches were terrific, unbelievable worker. He was great. So that part, I don't think was a problem.
A now very pissed off Bret Hart is going to challenge Lawler to any kind of rematch he wants. And here we get a kiss my foot stipulation.
You're welcome.
And in the weeks leading up to this, Lawler did a bunch of funny promos on TV saying he's not even going to wash his feet. He wants to make them as grotesque as possible. This was super silly, but it's old school wrestling and it worked. Bret Hart and Jerry Lawler hooked it up at the Kiss My Foot match. They go 9 minutes and 20 seconds. And Meltzer didn't hate it, but he didn't love it. He gave it 2 3/4 of a star. He would say, Hart knocked Hakushi out of the ring and shoved his foot in Lawler's face. He then twisted Lawler's own foot and put it in Lawler's face. Lawler sold it like he's going to throw up, which he did later in the show. Not a good match technically, but Hart was the most over person on the show. and Lawler did a great job working with the crowd. So the match had by far the most crowd heat and interest. And I think that's really like, that is Jerry Lawler in a sentence, is it not? He did a great job working with the crowd and had the most heat by far. Well, that's kind of what you want, right?
Lawler was tremendous in this.
Yeah.
You know, all the way down from just the, you know, the disgusting feet and the holes in the socks and the medieval times promos that we were able to go cut and shoot in New Jersey. That was a hell of a day. And it was, this was fun. This was a lot of fun. I think it translated to the screen that people looked at it and you wanted to see Lawler get his comeuppance, and he did. So it was good shit.
When was the last time you tried to kiss your own foot like Lawler? Could you do that today if we asked?
I tried to bite my toenails.
Really? How successful are you?
I hadn't been successful, Connie.
Okay.
Sad. Because I got one long one. It's almost like if I were to sniff cocaine off my toenails, it would be that one.
You would think your lovely wife could help you with that. Or what's Kane doing? I would point to the big toe and I would yell, "That's got to be Kane," and just make him do it.
You would think so.
With clippers, not with his teeth. That'd be a weird kind of deal. So, Bret is left off the next In Your House pay-per-view in July, but he did defeat Jean-Pierre Lafitte in a match included on the home video release on the show. And over the course of the next month, the Pirate would steal Bret's ring jacket from ringside in a match and then stole the shades he'd given to a fan before another match. So now we got a big hot issue over somebody stole my fucking jacket. And while all of this is going on, Lawler brings in his personal dentist into the feud because he can't get the taste of Bret's feet out of his mouth. And of course, it's another one of your great creations, I think named famously by Bobby the Brain Heenan, Isaac Yankem. Man, you guys, did you just reach directly into the book of bad ideas and pull out one at a time for Bret this year? It feels like it. Hey, we want you to wrestle King Kong Bundy. And then we want you to wrestle Bob Backlund. And then we're going to say you're racist against Japanese people. And then we're going to have you wrestle Lawler in a kiss your foot match. And then we're going to have a pirate steal your fucking jacket. And then this evil dentist will come along. That's the same year, dude.
Yep.
You felt like that was a good
shit.
year. That's the good. Oh, don't you hit us with that. At the TV tapings in late July, Bret and Sharon actually team up for a couple of dark matches. And they would defeat Jacob and Eli Blue and also Lawler and Hakushi. Why were Bret and Shawn put together here? Just, you knew they could have good matches together and they were both young baby faces, or what's the thinking?
Yes. And because they were, and they always did. So there was definitely chemistry there. And it was something that they were opposites, and opposites attracted, but yet they were very much the same.
If you hear this, you probably start to think, okay, I get why Bret was frustrated or why Bret wanted to take a little time off. He defeats the evil dentist at SummerSlam in Pittsburgh on August 27th. Not a bad match, but he's not in the main event and he's working with evil dentists. So not sliding Kane or Glenn Jacobs, but Lord, this is probably not what he hoped for. And next he's going to defeat the evil pirate at In Your House 3 in Saginaw on September 24th. He gets back his precious ring jacket.
Big Boya!
He does it a week later. And finally we end that silly feud, and he tries to blow off the Isaac Yankem piece of business by defeating him in I think the first steel cage match on Raw, which happened October 16th, 1995. Lawler's in his very own shark cage above the ring. That's pretty old school. And he does commentary for the Diesel British Bulldog main event at In Your House 4. And of course it's announced that he'll face the winner at the following month's Survivor Series. This is of course the famous show where Vince threw down his headset in disgust after the pay-per-view ended and yelled, "Horrible." You had to be feeling the same thing, like the company is like a ship without a sail at this point. Just to add context to this, this is October of 95, aka Monday Nitro has started. And we've got a schmoz finish here that Vince clearly was not happy with. What do you remember about that?
Yeah, nothing was working. Not just, it felt like everything was being slapped together.